We desire a change from Ambazonia. We desire a change in land. We desire a change for Africa. Oh God, hear our plea. Save our generation. Save this our nation, to shine your light in Africa. Oh God, hear our plea. Save our generation. Save this our nation, to shine your light to Africa. Oh God, hear our plea. Thanks for joining. And as you join, you share. God bless you, Emmanuel. I see you, Anna. I see you, Samuel. I see you all. As you join, share and invite your friends. Let's have a good time learning. Have a good time listening to some very important information that will help you to be able to stand these trying times we are going through. It is very, very important to be informed, because if you are not informed, you'll be deformed. If you don't have the strength to stand, you will be wiped out. You want to know what is going on and how to manage the situations around you, because information is a very powerful key. There is nothing as strong as no stronghold as strong as the mind. Your mind is you. Your mind is your destiny. Your mind determines where you are heading to. So you want to guard your mind. You want to feed your mind with the right information. You want to be sensitive. You want to be able to think critically. You want to be able to be strategic in order for you to be able to make it in life. Because your mind is your strongest stronghold. That is where you hide. That is where you take refuge. That is where your treasures of life are. And you never want anybody to manipulate your mind. So you never want to be a subject or a victim of manipulative cleverness. So join me on this live show and see how to identify those elements, because in life, every leader had been a follower, and every follower is a leader, and every leader follows when they have to change their dimension of leadership. So followership and leadership, they go together. In one way or the other, you are following somebody. In one way or the other, you are leading somebody. In one way or the other, you are following somebody. In one way or the other, you are leading somebody. Either it's in church or in the community or it's in the political circle, there is always a followership and a leadership. And what I will be talking about more here is how to identify true leadership. How to be sure your followership will not take you out of your destination, out of your destiny. There are a lot of sheep that will not arrive. Like Jonah sailed a ship to Tarshish and ended up in the belly of a whale because he was going against his purpose. Many people are in the wrong ship today. It could be in a political class, it could be in a fellowship, it could be in a friendship, it could be in anything. But let's learn today what it means, what followership can do to you. The power of knowing the leadership that you follow and your destiny is very important. The two cannot be separated. Manipulative cleverness can never substitute wisdom. 1 + 1 will never be equal to 2. As you join this live broadcast, share, because it's going to help somebody. Share. If you are busy and you stop by, you want to come back and watch this video, you want to participate in this video because there is something in here that you need for your journey. There's something in here that you need to accomplish your destiny. And I will be addressing some issues that have been going around in the Southern Cameroon communities on this, so that we can understand that you cannot plant blackjack and harvest beans. There is no way 1 + 1 will ever be equal to 3. Manipulative cleverness will never substitute wisdom. Shortcuts always end up being the longest routes that you take. When you take the shortcut that turns out to be very long, your GPS can turn you round and round forever. So to every followership, there is a leadership. And every follower is a leader to someone. And every leader follows another leader. We want to understand who we are following, what we are following. If our leadership and our fellowship is going to followership, will take us to our destination. It is wrong to take a train that is heading to Missouri and tell yourself you're going to reach New York. It doesn't happen, and it will never happen. It is wrong to book a flight that is taking you to Lagos and tell yourself you will reach Nigeria, and tell yourself you will reach Cameroon. No, if you book a flight that is taking you to Lagos International Airport, it will not suddenly just land you in Douala. That is why it is very important to know the leadership you are following. The kind of followership you are doing is very important, because time is very expensive. You can live your life for 75 years and then you turn around and find out that you spent only 12.5 years of your life on yourself. You want to maximize your life, you want to maximize your resources, you want to maximize your potentials. And so I'm going to be going right away into why I am making this live broadcast. I am making this live broadcast so that we can understand what leadership is, what followership is. As touching the matters of Southern Cameroon right now, as someone who has been actively involved, there is a leadership challenge. There is also a followership challenge. You cannot just be following a leadership. You cannot just be following without questioning. You cannot just be following without a roadmap. You cannot just be following without a tangible proof of what your purpose and objective is. You cannot just be following a people that you cannot account for their making process. When it comes to leadership, leaders go through a making process, which is called a discipleship, or you can call it mentorship, or you can call it apprenticeship. You go through apprenticeship and mentorship and discipleship to emerge as a leader, because leadership is not a fanfare. Leadership is not a fanfare. Followership is not a fanfare. When it comes to the destiny of a people, like the destiny of Southern Cameroon, we need leaders to arise and lead. We need followers who are patriotic, who know what they want to follow. When you start to follow a leadership that has no roadmap, that tells you today you are doing this, tomorrow you are doing that, and you cannot be able to account for transparency, you cannot hold them accountable, you are in a big trouble. It is always very, very important that no matter what organization you belong to, that there should be a high level of accountability, at least a minimum level of transparency that you can hold and stand by and identify, to be able to check that this followership I am doing is taking me to the direction of my purpose, of where I am heading to and what I want to achieve. Coming back to the Southern Cameroon effect, in our state, we We have a people of compassion who have said we are tired of seeing our people in the bushes. And we have our union that we meet. We live in a digital world. No matter how busy we are, we have meetings. We do Zoom and we meet and we talk to each other. And every time you give money that is going for the refugees, you give money that is going down to help the people on ground zero, you give money that is going to help the people in Nigeria, you see the account and everything is accountable for. Everything is accountable for. All the backdoor transactions in a revolution or in a time like this are dangerous, because we live in a world where they are hackers. We live in a world where they are scammers. And so no one person has the mastermind to do it. That is why you do whistleblowing. You are led whistleblowers in a time in a time that you're undergoing a processing, so that you can have witnesses who can raise an alarm that, oh, there is a problem here. When you do backdoor transactions, like whatever is going on with my trip to Boya, I am talking it open. All those backdoor transactions are dangerous. For one thing, if anything happens, if you were scammed, there will be no check. If someone lied, you will not be able to find out. You could be dealing with somebody that is not even going to foster that project, and you are trusting them. Let me take, for example, our state. Look at when we do our things, you have statements, bank statements that are coded. You have your number that is given to you. You have the account of the whole group sent back to you. You see expenses and you see balance. You see checks. I belong to two groups that we have decided to come together to help our people so that they can be in the forest and have antibiotics, have anti-malaria treatments, that they can be in the forest and have at least antiseptics to treat their wounds. If they are not able to reach the hospitals in time, they should be able to have a minimum first aid. If the roads are on checks where they might, on their way to the hospital, be killed, they can have immediate checks. You cannot start to build a house from the roof. It always starts with a block by block, and you will build a house. It always starts with an agenda that is defined. You can't say you want to build a castle and then you are not able to lay bricks. You are not able to bring all the tools together, and then you just presume that you will get into that castle. So we do this, and everybody's money is accounted for, because the hard-earned currency of people is very important. If you are heading any organization and you take people for granted and you think that you are the boss and the master of it, not even the American government fails to give an account. When they take your tax, they show you where your tax goes. You see how your money is being used. There is nothing like doing a backdoor transaction in the midst of a revolution. Every time you see people fidgeting when they hold money in their hands, know you are dealing with the wrong set of people. You cannot stand and call those people leaders, because they are going to lead you into a big ship. Let me tell you something. Followership and leadership, they go together. But what I am seeing that is going on here is what we call fanfare. It is not fanfare. This is the life of people. It is a matter of life and death. Our people are on crossroads. There is no way that you can be playing with the destiny of people at such a time as this. The Southern Cameroonian people all over the world are going through the trauma. You may not be on ground zero, but you are not sleeping when you see that person's car fired. You may not be on ground zero, but you are in pain when you don't know what next will happen to who. You are not in ground zero, but you're in pain when you are a pregnant mother in America and you're going to give birth with the best midwives and the best doctors, and you see your own fellow Southern Cameroonian giving birth to twins in the forest, giving birth to children in the forest, they don't have a baby warmer. They might not even have wrappers to wrap the baby. And then people join and they're working day and night, and they're contributing money. They should be able to get a feedback. They should be able to get an accountability, a minimum accountability, progressively, not with suspense. We are already dealing with a lot to have to be dealing with governments and leaders that people have to be calling their attention. I cannot be trying to fight and calling on the UN to come and liberate our people, and then I have to be calling and crying out to the interim government to come to senses. If you are not ready for a revolution, don't stand on the front line. Don't stand on the front line. You won't be there, because this is a God thing. God will root you out. God will squash you out. I hear people saying everywhere, donate money, beg your leader, tell your leader to come and do this. Please stop begging them. If they don't want to come together, God will scatter them. All those their small unions in their organizations will become like the Tower of Babel. They will leave one another and go to their places, and their tower will never be completed. It is not a time. This is a time when we should spend time advocating for funds. Spend time. 1 minute of your time is very important. If you live in America, you know that time is money, because your 1 hour is dollars gone. You are working out activists by being ineffective. You make them come, and the time they were supposed to be coaching the people down, they were supposed to be reaching out to supporters, they were supposed to be reaching out to people that could help them. You making them, working them out to be calling out on people who call themselves leaders, who have to be told what to do, who don't know preliminary what they need to be doing. If you people cannot unite, if you people cannot come together and work on a common goal, then you are unfit for this battle. You are unfit to help. You are unhelpful. You are unhelpful. So right now, I want to talk out to the activists out there. I am not an activist. I am not doing activism, but I am calling out on you activists. Choose what you want to market. You swell their ego and their pride. They're already so swollen, and you're swelling their ego and pride more by thinking that they are indispensable. You leaders, whether you're in the IG or you're in which group, you are not indispensable. You are not indispensable. The only indispensable people are the people in the forest. Those are the people that matter. Those are the people attracting the international community. Those are the people that caused the American Congress to come together. If your objective in this revolution is not the people, pack your bags and stay aside, or follow and learn and emerge as a leader. Followership and leadership go together. Do not follow like a moron. Do not follow like an idiot. Question them and hold them to account. All those backdoors you do, you come out and you tell your fellow comrade that you are interested in unity. You go into a WhatsApp group and you're bickering and say, I was just telling them to get their noise off my head. You know, I will not be part of it. Why are you hypocritical? Manipulative cleverness will never be equal to wisdom. Manipulative cleverness will never be equal to wisdom. 1 + 1 will never be equal to 3. If somebody told you there were shortcuts to reality, it is not true. There is only one way to it. Your processing you can never be bigger than your processing. Wherever you are heading to, you must be able to track your pathway. You must be able to design your future, and then you go for it. You cannot, as I said earlier, book a flight for Lagos and wish you would land in Douala. It will never happen. It will take you straight to Lagos. Now, I want to address this thing. Some people are talking of Marshall Investment Plan. You just sit and hear about things and you don't verify and you get involved in it. And you think that you want to take a whole community of 8 million people and drag them into an investment plan. Let me tell you something. How much time did you take to study stock market? How many people of expertise have you recruited who know what it means to do stock marketing, to be able to manage this very business that you think is a national business, that you think should involve the entire Ambazonia? And why should you do that in the time when they are going through war? Don't tell me that when they come out of war, they will need hospitals, they will need help, they will need this. What you are saying is not real. Let me tell you the truth. When I was still in my 20s, I was very, very, very young. I remember Liberia had come out of ceasefire, and Ellen Johnson gave a clarion call to the world, inviting investors, and Liberians who had fled as refugees were returning back home. I was there and I witnessed it. I was there 6 months after the ceasefire. I had the privilege to meet with the vice president of Liberia in his office, and I shook hands with him. Let me tell you something. That is not how post-war is handled. Post-war is not handled by the people who are in war fighting to do this. Let me tell you something. Everybody is going through the pain. Even those who are in the government in La Republic, who are Southern Cameroonians, they are going through the pain. Don't tell me that young Philemon is there and he is not sleeping. Let me tell you, except that everybody has lost the sense of humanity. His village is being raided. And I want you to understand that we are in a situation where we are going through trauma, and it is wrong for some people to think that they have the key button and the remote control in front of us and they are treating us like a video game. No, it is not a video game. It is a reality. Our people are going through pain. And therefore, I want to call out on this prospect. Before you come out launching whatever you're launching, be sure that you know what you are doing, because this is not time to distract people. When people did a lot of casualties happened. There are people who have been able to help people directly back home, but they were waiting for that one mighty giant thing, and nobody knows what it is. Let me tell you the truth. Nothing that you do in secret or through the back door is real, because when scammers mean to scam you, they always tell you, don't tell. Don't tell. We have grown up in a culture where people are taught not to tell. But I live in America in a community where people tell on you. If you come out and you think that your child was a bag of sand and you're whooping your child in the parking lot, a concerned mother is calling the police and they are getting you right there. If you start to fidget around in the community, nobody is going to be wasting time, because they understand that 1 minute spent with a thief, 1 minute spent with a faulty person can cost the destiny of thousands of people. And so I want you, Ambazonians, to wake up and be able to ask those difficult questions. If you say you are a leader and you cannot be critique, you don't know what leadership is. Let me tell you something. It takes critical thinking, strategic planning to be able to solve problems, to be able to bring people out of an enigma like the situation we find ourselves in. It is not a show. It is not a showbiz. It is not in your eloquence. It is not how much you can pull crowd. It's not about popularity. Jesus had just 12 disciples and they turned the whole world. And what he did is still going on. You know why? Because he spent time and raised up disciples. He did not do fanfare. You know, you can go into sports and do fanfare. You can go into sports and be a fanatic if you want. But if you want to be in issues that concern life, not entertainment, you cannot be doing fanaticism. Fanaticism is a crime at this point in time in the revolution. It is not about where you belong to, what you want, who you like to hear from, who tells you nice, sweet, by and by. No, you cannot afford to do fanaticism at this time. Let me tell you something. Jesus did discipleship because he knew that for you to be a Christian, you have to resemble him. But if you have to be a fan of a footballer like Drogba, you don't need to learn how to play football. You just have to be a hand clapper and you never have to play football. But if you have to be a disciple of Drogba, you have to be mentored by Drogba, then you should be able to play football someday even better than him. But if you are just a fan, you don't need to learn how to play football. That is what happens with leadership. And destiny of my own, I will end up as a slave. And so what I am calling out that I see with the IG is autocracy, which is unacceptable, because we are coming out from a system where there is a lot of pain from autocratic dictative regimes, and now I see a regimic spirit getting into a revolution. And I want to tell you, just as it happened to the Tower of Babel, it will be happening to you if you don't adjust. It is okay to make mistakes. We have come a long way. No one has been through this path before. And is everybody doing great? Yes. But better is not good enough. Step up to your best. Has everybody tried? Yes. Have anybody offered a minimum? Yes. But you must overcome the enemy called average to be able to assail your excellence and become affluential and become influential and become defined and become what the world can look at and admire. We are desiring to be the beacon of Africa. Our revolution has all that it takes to prepare us into a nation that has the democracy that Africa has been looking for. We can become the beacon of Africa. We can become, but we will not become it going through this pathway. Will there be independence? Yes, there will be independence. That one is as sure as the word sure. But the point is, what is our making process for this time that God has decided to be making us into leaders? What is your making process? If your processing is crude, you will start up a crude government. If your processing is fine, you will start up a fine government, because no man can be bigger than their processing. Let me tell you something. If you don't understand that what we are in is a matter of life and death, Mother Nature has served us an opportunity, a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You will be messing up with this. No backdoor deals. No backdoor deals. We have scammers everywhere. We have people who can tell you that they are going to be doing great things that they will never do. You never, ever, ever, ever trade the destiny of people in this way. We are not going to be playing the Esau business, and we are not going to be playing the Jacob business. Now, come on. I am talking to IG because they are the prominent. They are posing as a government. Now, let me tell you people something. You can say they are already there. There's nothing that should be done. There is something that should be done. We can correct our mistakes. You cannot continue on a pathway of mistake and hope one day that you will end up with an A grade. No. If you fail the first exam and you don't work hard, you're going to fail the next exam, and you don't work hard, you're going to get an F, and you will drop out of the course. But if you fail the first exam and you decide to intensify your studies, you decide to change the way you did things, because people who made a difference are not different people, but there are people who did things differently. If you come to that place and then you decide that, okay, I am going to stop now and fix my error, then you are ready for success. But if you keep making the same mistakes, repeated mistakes over and over, the same thing your predecessors went through, you are going through that cycle. You will be on one spot, and you can't tell me you're my leader. I am too big to be led by a leader that is going through the cycle. Why? Because I know what I am out for. You listen well to me. In my 20s in Cameroon, I was a millionaire. I wasn't just a millionaire by chance. You had the opportunity to be mentored. I didn't have the opportunity to be mentored. While others have mentors, I had tormentors. But I still use my mentors to emerge to a strong leader, to be able to lead, to be able to break a ground that has never been broken in my country. And I earn clean money with clean hands, $1 million francs every month in Cameroon as a young single girl. And I want you to understand that Southern Cameroon has been blessed with brains. You cannot take a people that are so knowledgeable and make them flops. And we are not going to do that kind of followership. Are we expecting you to be perfect? No. Are we expecting you to be to just assail to the level of democratic knowledge that the first world countries have? No. But we at least expect to see you making progress. We at least expect to see you improving. We at least expect to see you making changes. Not changes of appointing cabinets, of dismissing people. Dismissing people in a revolution is the most foolish thing to ever do. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Your obstacles are your potential miracles. When you see a leader that is doing everything to get rid of obstacles, know that he's leading you to nowhere. Because they don't have the eagle mentality. Do you know that before a mother eagle releases their eaglets, they always take off the cotton and leave the thorns? Because before they start to lay their eggs, they put the thorns and then they put the grass, they put the cotton, and then they lay their eggs. When they hatch their egg, they hatch them in a good comfort. But when the day of the release of the eaglet comes, they wait for the highest storm, and then they take off all the grass and they leave the thorns and the tools, and then they release the eaglets. If you don't fly, if you're not able to take advantage of the storm and fly, they put you back in the nest that is so uncomfortable. So you will desire to get out of that nest, and consequently you will fly. When you meet leaders who fear opposition, who fear critics, who fear obstacles, no, they are leading you to nowhere. Show me a leader who made a great change. I will show you Jesus Christ, who never backed at his critics, who never spent time on his critics, who never spent time looking for good name, who never spent time with the people who called him. Let me tell you something. Your true friends are not those who are clapping for you and making fanfare with you. Your true friends. What's the problem, Kerry? Go talk to daddy. Thank you, baby. When you are a leader and everybody around you is clapping for you, let me tell you something. You are surrounded by Judas. You are surrounded by Thomases. You are surrounded by Peters. These are people that if something happens to you today, they'll be the first people to wash your dirty linens in the public. They'll be the first people, the people who will even consider crying for you will be those people who were criticizing you. Because while they were criticizing you, they wanted you to do your very best. They saw a path you were going to that was leading you to nowhere, and they were trying to call your attention back to somewhere. And then you call them your enemies, and then you call those who were your enemies your friends because they were clapping for you. No, true leaders listen to their critics. Let me tell you something. Leaders, as much as leaders are leading, they have their mentors who critique them. Show me a good leader and I will show you a leader who has a mentor who is critical to details. Who is critical. Like you go and do it and you thought you do your best and you come and your mentor says, yes, this was great and all the like, and then he still brings out some things, and you who is under that mentorship, you realize that yes, you messed up somehow. And once you take that critic and you work with it, the next time you're emerging better. Better is never good enough. You have to head for your best. That is the race of life. You can never settle for the enemy called average. Have our revolution done so great? Yes, we have come a long way. Honestly, what revolutions did not achieve in 5 years as achieved in 5 months. But if we sit celebrating this kind of success, we will never head for what is better. So I am urging all the activists out there to stop doing all the pampering. We cannot pamper them. It's a bad sign that revolutionary leaders are being pampered and that people are now sending advocating messages and begging them. You are the people that are supposed to be the advocates, and now they are advocating to you. It is a bad sign. Stop it. I tell every activist, don't take that thing and tell them to be trying to encourage them to go on Unity platform. Go and tell your leader that. Go and tell your leader that. No, they are not to be told. They have to emerge because they are in a situation room, except they are not doing their work, except they are not even sharing the burden that we are bearing. Because if you are a leader now, handling the deck, you should be in a situation room. You should not be sleeping. You should be that researcher who is trying to have the most forensic evidence of what is going on, who is in touch with our people, who have been able to talk with the people in the forest, who have been able to do everything to get to be the first person that gets someone to talk to our people in prison who are held incommunicado. That is what you should be doing. Who is doing everything? You are in a situation room and you are not in that place where people should be clapping hands for you. Yeah, that is a bad sign. Get up and go back to example. Before you talk of introducing a Marshall investment plan in the heart of a revolution like this, it's a good idea, but it is not good because it is not right. Just like I said, booking a flight to Lagos and hoping that it takes you to Douala will never reach there. This is time we are supposed to be working on how to make my trip to Boya useful, how to make my trip to Boya do what it was meant to do, how to reach out to those people in the forest. How do you contact Aya Foundation? How do you contact this person? How do we make sure we get the right people to handle our money? Because some of those people you're dealing with and calling and sending money to them are scammers. Why? Because you don't care to listen. You don't care to work with the people who have been on the grassroots. Before you got there, before you sat there were people who were doing direct communication, who are not doing it for political reasons. This politicking in the heart of a revolution is a crime. The only politics we are allowed to play is international politics, like what I saw Edwin Chang doing with Chiruma, making him come down like a baby in the international media. That is the kind of politicking you should be doing. You don't politic with us. Don't politic with us. We are going through trauma. Don't politic with us. We are going through pain. When you politic with us, it's like you want to brainwash us. But we are not idiots. We are not morons. What you have to do is to be able to tailor our energy, our full-grown energy, and be able to happen there as miracles. Every leader that escapes obstacles is not a leader in it, because obstacles are potential wombs of miracles. Where there are no obstacles, there are no miracles. Where there is no trouble, there is no treasure. If you want to back at every person that openly critiques you, there is something wrong with your leadership. Because those who are clapping for you are your killers. Those who say, yeah, yeah, go, 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 even when you kick the ball outside, they are your killers. They don't have the guts to tell you, you did not strike this at the right angle. And so even if you are safe with a penalty, you will miss it. Because you are so swollen up in your head and you are not in the energy of the game. Let those distractors leave you alone. Listen to the people who can call you accountable, who can hold you accountable. Don't be moved when you see 10,000 viewers or you see 1,000 views. That is not it. Let me tell you something. The same people who ate the bread that Jesus gave them said, crucify him. They said, give us Barabbas and crucify him. The same people that he raised their dead to life. But Jesus stood on the cross and said, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they were doing. Because he was a man with a vision. He was a man with a vision. These same people who are clapping for you, tomorrow when you're in trouble, they will not know you. The only people that are going to aid you enter your destiny are those who care to critique you, who care to sample you, who care to question what you were doing. If you did it well, they told you to your face. If you did it wrong, they told you to your face. Those are the people that you can lean on. When Paul, who was Saul, was persecuting Christ, when he encountered the truth, he became one of the greatest apostles who made the gospel to spread so fast. Did you know that Saul, who was at the killing of Stephen, was going to become a powerful apostle that was going to lay down his life for all? Stop killing your saviors. Stop fighting your real friends. And stop embracing your enemies. Am I saying those who are clapping for you are all enemies? I am just giving you an allegory so that you can use it to spike your critical thinking, so that you can use it to spike your imagination and become strategic in your oppression. Post-war is the best time ever because you don't need to take money and hold. Any leader that is holding money at this time is wicked. Because how do you take money and invest when there are people in the bushes? You have to give that money out so that as that child is being clothed with blanket, they are saying a prayer for you. You have to give that money out so that as that refugee is eating that rice and say, God, I thank you, they are somebody is punished in your land, do not lay your hands on them because of their because they are not of Ambazonia. Because the way you treat strangers matters a lot to God. Do not collect money from people. Do not extort money from anybody. Because those people's cry will reach God and you will have no courage. We cannot be running from oppression and we are oppressing. Fight the enemy. If it is somebody that has come to kill you, kill them. Kill them. If somebody imagined that they were going to kill you, kill them before they even attempt. Now, coming back to followership and leadership. Now I want to address followers. I have talked to leaders. Followership. Every sheep you bought is taking you to a destination. I want everyone that has been following, ask yourself today, are you following to the right direction? Are you on the right train? Are you with the right, are you partying with the right crowd? Are you really going to your destination? When you are following, you have to ask this question. Can this leader accommodate my vision? Can this leader help me birth my vision? Can this leader deliver? And you can know the signs. I already showed you the signs. When you cannot have accountability to its minimum. When you cannot have a definition because you cannot find what you cannot define. You must be able to define something to be able to find it. And so if you don't define your parameters, you can't find it because 1 + 1 will never be equal to 3. Manipulative cleverness will never substitute wisdom. So followership. Tell yourself the truth. Your inner voice is talking to you. And then you get up and say, anyway, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. No, you cannot be doing it anyway when people are suffering. Instead of putting money or putting effort or spending time on activism and talking to leaders who are safe and talking to people who call themselves leaders who are not able to come in and reason together like brothers, what are you telling me about? Spend that time to talk to the people on the ground and encourage them to be able to have strength because these ones are not indispensable. I want to address this so you don't spend your energy, whether their followers are saying left or they are saying right. This is not a video game. You people should not unite. You are not indispensable. God will take you out of there. If you think that you're going to manipulate the destiny of 8 million people, not this time and not in this generation. You know why some of us have gone through. You know why some of us cry. You know why some of us are pregnant and still go and take an extra shift to be able to have money to give you. You know why? Do you know why? Because some of our parents lease their rice in the farm to pay our fees in the university. Do you know why I cry when a La Republican or whatsoever shoots on our child? Because I know what it has cost our parents to raise them up. Some sold their coffee in the farm before even got right just to have money to be able to send those children to primary school. There are some people who cannot, if you have been doing community work like I have done, there are households that don't even have money to spend 5,000 francs to pay fees. But these parents do everything and then they raise that child and someone gets up in a uniform and call himself a security officer and pull a trigger to their head. It is unacceptable. Some of those houses that our parents built that they went and set fire on them. Do you know what it cost them to be able to raise that house at the same time sending those children to school and to the university? What our parents did when they were not privileged in that system is that they educated us. And this generation that is educated is reason. And I don't want anyone that comes up in the name of a leader and try to derail us. We are not idiots. There is a way of rendering accountability. If you don't know how to do it in a secure way, ask those who know it, they will do it. If you're talking of a Marshall investment plan, my husband does stock marketing. You have to research, you have to be able to know when to invest and when to trade. Do you people have an idea trading, you're at the mercy, because if the stocks that you bought, when they lost value, your money loses value. Do you know that? If the stock you bought lost value, your money loses value. That even if you were depending on the dividends of that stock, it will still be lower than what you invested. Who is your broker? Who has that sense? How many Cameroonians who have been in, how many Southern Cameroonians who are in stock market have been able to consolidate that your vision? Is it not the money doubler or American greed scheme? If it is not, then how many people who are experts in that field are doing it? This is a time when they say there is a government or a leadership or a structure, the leader should be that person. A leader does not have to be the most intelligent person in the world. A leader should be someone who is able to bring people together, who is able to pull together the energies of the people and galvanize them and direct them to do great things and give them the autonomy to function. Now, do you think that I want to be in a system that is like Republic? No. So I'm not going to be putting in a place that it is the government that's going to manage my health system. That's the government that will still manage my education system. What if they go and decide to take a curriculum of Britain and come to implement it because they were our colonial country? When there are brains of people who can develop curriculums that will make children effective for the world market, and then they come and impose it on me. I am not interested in that plan. I can invest my money. I have a dream. Now, if you don't want to recognize that we are a nation of dreamers, you should get up and make inquiries before you put on those things out there. Coming to that is if we consider that it's a government. And if you want to shift gears and say, I am an acting president, I am no longer an acting interim president, you should go back to the base of the text to find out what interim meant. Do you know that it is not legal to be operating a government in someone's country, like in America, without their mandate to cover you if they're not your host country? Do you know that that is illegal? Instead of following the patterns that leads to that, why not do it? How can you tell me 1 + 1 will never be equal to 3? Can we get back to the base and do the right thing? Yes, it takes humility. And the Bible says, humble yourself in the sight of the Lord and he shall lift you up. Don't feed your head with lies and hope that one day it will become reality. Don't feed your head with lies and hope that one day it will become truth. Everyone that cracked down on reformers is a dictator. If you fight me because I am introducing a reform, then you are a real enemy to democracy. You are a real enemy to progress. So how do you put the legality in place? A government in another man's country that is not recognized? A country must be your host country to host your government. That is the first mistake that was made. And it's an interim government. You cannot call yourself a president in another man's country. These are very important truths that you need to, when we want to tell the truth, somebody will like, oh, don't do this. We have to just pamper this and get there. You will not get there until you learn to speak the truth to each other. Until you learn to address the truth, you will never get there. Just like I said, boarding a flight that is taking you to Lagos and hoping that it leaves you in Pamenda will never, ever happen. You cannot go and plant grass and expect to go and meet a rice field. If you plant wheat, you will harvest wheat. It will never just become a rice field just because you prayed. You read the book of Proverbs, you read the Bible from cover to cover, you read from the epistles of the apostles, you read up to the book of Revelation, it has not changed. Even before Jesus made the miracle of wine, he needed wine to produce more wine. He did not take urine to make wine out of urine. He needed water. He needed something that has a lead to what he was looking for. So, with this said, I hope that your followers followership and your leadership will change. I hope that your followership and your leadership will get back to the basics of real definition of what life and destiny is all about. Because when you leave New York and you take a train that is taking you to Missouri and you're hoping that you are going to reach Washington, D.C., it will not happen. Just like I said, don't go through the back doors. Be transparent as best as you can be. I have journeyed. I have taken international trips in my 20s. Nigeria is one of those places that is so hospitable, but the same people with that hospitality are thieves. I had my Nigerian friend who used to tell me, when you enter Lagos, treat everybody as a suspect. Do you know why? It's not everybody that smiles with you and articulated well about what you are looking for that you should just trust. Ask your predecessors how much they have lost in dealing with them. You don't have to learn only from your experience. Those who made mistakes before you are your greatest treasure. That is how I lived my life. I lived my life as a teenager successfully, and I can boldly say I got married at the age of 31 as a virgin, not because I was a strong girl, but because I had a lot of people who made mistakes around me and I humbly learned from them. That person making that mistake could be you, but because someone made a mistake and all you did was crucify them, criticize them, and you didn't feel sorry for them that they made that mistake as if you were Mr. Alright, you will find yourself in that same mistake tomorrow. But I treasure those who dare to adventure and then make a mistake because they are my real teachers. I am what I am because they made mistakes before me. Before I ever got there, they made a mistake and so I could correct myself. That is why everybody is very important. Everybody is very important. Some people go and tap other scammers and all they like. What have you learned from that can make you better? Nothing. Do you think there is no human being on earth that is so strong to make it on their own? You can never become a self-made person. You learn from somebody. If you did the right thing, it's because you saw someone do the wrong thing and you saw the outcome was not good and you chose to follow a right path. Don't tell me you are a lone ranger. You don't have all the solutions to the problems in the world. Everybody matters. They may differ with you in their opinion, but they are important as long as they are breathing and everybody always have a chance. That person you're castigating today and you're not focusing on your own life could improve themselves and become even more excellent than you who thinks you are Mr. Alright. Everybody is vulnerable. But how can you minimize your vulnerability? When you decide not to learn only from your own experience. Experience is the best teacher, but only a fool will want to learn only from his own experience. You can learn from the mistakes of others. That is why if others make mistakes, don't crucify them. That is what we call tolerance. You're learning from them when they make their mistakes. But when you only crucify them and you did not reproach them because with a positive thought and you thought they should just be killed because they made a mistake, you will make an even bigger one and you will have no sympathizer. I am coming to the end of my show. In the next 5 minutes, I'll be rounding up. And I want to thank you all for joining. Thank you for following. And thank you for sharing so that many people will be educated. I am very open to questions. You can go to my inbox and you can like my page. The page, Join the Army That Sheds No Blood. You can like my page, and when I see more likes on my page, I will be able to reach out to you there. The page is Join the army that sheds no blood. And I will be rounding up in the next 5 minutes. And you can send me your questions and your critics online, and I will clarify you. You can call me and I will talk to you. I might have said something that is challenging your inner man and that is questioning the things you've been doing and you don't know how to get out of it. Talk with me. We can talk together and you will realize that the solution is in you. You are very intelligent. Human beings are the most intelligent beings and we are the most rational beings. We are also free moral agents, meaning that you can decide to heed to what I said and you can decide not to heed to it. You are not obliged to take to what I said. But what I know is that your subconscious memory recorded it. And in the day of trouble, this voice can resound to you again and help you out from challenge. You are not obliged to just believe it right away. You're not obliged to run with it. You follow your instinct because you have the autonomy to your mind, and never let anyone manipulate your mind. Never let anyone manipulate or control your mind. If anybody starts controlling you, that is witchcraft. Someone can lead you, guide you, but it's unacceptable for someone to control you. And so I am not here to control your mind. I don't have the buttons to do it, but I am here to help you dig from the wells of your own wisdom. Dig from the wells of your own conscience and help you go further and take the miles you have to take to fulfill your destiny. And I thank you all for joining and sharing. And you can always go back to this video on my timeline or whoever shares it, and you'll be able to comment and ask questions, and I'm going to take time and answer you. No, you don't just castigate on somebody and call him a fake pastor. No, you are not in their shoes. But that's okay. If that will help him improve on some things, it's okay. I am not telling you you don't have the right to. You have the right to. But if he is a pastor, he will consider that persecution and pray for you, because the Bible says, pray for those who persecute you. And I'm going to end this right now. And I will be replying all your comments so that it doesn't interrupt the... Be sure to check your replies to all your comments. I will reply them civilly with no insults. Thank you all for joining, and God bless you. Bye.